Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's work session meeting. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as follows. On January 10th and December 6th, 2023, notice was sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Union County Local Source, and the Clerk of Municipality. By state law, there is no spoken permitted in this building at any time. In addition to the listed items on this agenda, this Board of Education may discuss and act upon other items not specifically referred to herein as allowed at the regularly scheduled monthly board meetings under the Sunshine Law. Roll call.
Ms. Pino.
Here.
Ms. Rosada Quesada. Ms. Thomas.
Present.
Ms. Armstead. Ms. Carrillo.
Present.
Ms. Cintron.
Present.
Mr. Dela Cruz. Mrs. Fleming. And Dr. Berghammer.
Present.
Comments from the public. Members of the public desiring to make a public comment may come forward at this time. For those watching online, if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature on the online meeting platform. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address. Individuals are invited to speak on one topic at a time, and no individual will speak more than once until all individuals so desiring have spoken.
Madam President, may I say something?
Yes.
Thank you when you finish. Because we're having two meetings tonight, if I may say something, because we are having two meetings tonight, we would like to hold all discussions until our regular board meeting.
No, we're going to invite them to speak to the public now. We're just going to ask, generally at our work sessions, we invite you to speak twice, once on agenda items, once on non-agenda items. For tonight, because of the time crunch, and we have to start the regular meeting by 8 o'clock, we're going to invite you once to speak, so this will be an opportunity to speak. No, you can do that too, but you could speak now, agenda and non-agenda items. Whatever you want to talk about, you could do it now. This is the one shot for the work session, and the only thing I'm going to say is we're expecting that there's going to be a lot of conversation, perhaps at the regular meeting about the pouches. So if anybody wants to talk about that, maybe we could wait till the regular meeting to do
I'll
that.
make this nice and brief. My name is Kurt Howard, 120 Donaldson Place. I'm looking at the finance report on page 23. Item number 11, funds for 30,000 from the Department of Education to the IDSCC-LC supplemental report for fiscal year 2024. I was just wondering what that rate is and what is it used for?
John, do you have an answer?
Yes. Hold on. I could get that to you. 1 sec. I'm trying to find it.
You can
Page
also
23.
put it in my house. They make for good bedtime reading, by the way.
Yeah, I know it's supplemental funding, but I'll get more information for you.
You can hold up and give me a note on it next month. That's okay, too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, y'all. Rob Mangel, 18 Trinity Place, Montclair, New Jersey. LEA President, LHS Social Studies teacher. With the chair's permission, I'd like to ask two pieces, if that's okay. Thank you. Piece number one, since we do not have access to the personnel agenda yet, will we have an opportunity to speak on personnel agenda items when we return from executive session?
I didn't hear. Could you speak up?
Is this guy working today? All right.
Yeah.
Will since we do not currently have access to the personnel agenda, will we be able to speak on personnel agenda items when you return from executive?
Let me answer your question with a question. We will not vote on it until the regular meeting. Would it satisfy you if you have an opportunity at the start of the regular meeting to ask those questions before we vote?
Absolutely.
If that doesn't satisfy you, then we'll obviously afford you the opportunity to.
Oh, no, as long as there's the opportunity for.
We will get to
comments
speak on
the
it before we vote.
That's all I need.
And
Thank you,
for,
Joe.
yes, and for someone who comes to this meeting all the time, you know, genuinely, at our work session, we really do not discuss personnel until the regular meeting.
Oh, I know, I just like to, for folks who might not be here as often as me.
Yeah, okay.
Second piece, I'd like to speak briefly on finance report number 18. It's on page 23.
It's under personnel or finance?
Finance.
Finance.
This is not,
It
this is
really
in the back.
is.
Number 18, the Arrow Security.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Would you, I know that this is something that we have been discussing a while with the hour security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Security,
could,
okay.
why don't we let Rob ask his question and then.
All right, so obviously the security of our schools is imperative, and I hope that the step the board may take tonight will provide a secure environment for everyone. However, with an eye on the long term, I would urge this board to consider making all security personnel LPS employees. Our hall monitors and crisis interventionists, many of whom are Linden residents, work hard every day, not just to help students move through the hallways, but also to diffuse situations and build relationships with our students. Oftentimes, they are able to head off problems before they occur because of their relationships with our students. This is something you can only get with staff who are committed to Linden Public Schools. Thank you.
And may I answer?
Please, yeah.
Just while Rob's up here, I do want to state on the record, there's been a lot of discussion about this proposal with the LEA. Rob and I have discussed it quite in depth. Rob and I disagree as to whether it's something that the board has to negotiate. Nonetheless, out of good faith, the board has been discussing ways to integrate this amicably with the LEA, and we're going to continue to do that. I would like to point out that this is a contract that runs only through the end of the school year, so this contract will expire June 30th of 2024. If we want to renew it, we're going to continue to involve the LEA in that process. The board has indicated a willingness to consider ways to do what Rob is asking we do. And the only other key thing I would like to stress on the record here is none of our current employees are going to be losing their jobs as a result of us bringing this security firm. No one's going to lose any compensation. They're not going to lose any hours of work. This security is being brought in, if it's approved, simply to supplement the security and add to what we already have here. But we will continue to talk.
Absolutely.
Anyone online?
Madam President, some people just walked in, so I just wanted to reiterate that because of the odd schedule we have tonight, we're doing 2 meetings in one night. We did want to condense the public comment section for the work session. So if anybody wants to speak on agenda or non-agenda items in the work session, I invite you to do that now. You will also have an opportunity to speak twice when we open up the regular meeting at approximately 8 o'clock.
Thank you. Okay. Superintendent's report?
Oh, before one of the things this board is really committed to is developing everyone on this team here, This is why you notice that we rotate board members to run the meeting. Tonight, we are going to be using one of our assistant superintendents to run our meeting, and I look forward, sir, to seeing you do it. Let's do this.
Thank you, Dr. Burkhammer. I will be sharing the superintendent's report after the work session.
Education report.
Thank you. The Education Committee, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Assistant Superintendents, present the following motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Items number 1 through 4 are regarding special education services, including the enrollment of students in out-of-district placements. This includes approving the payment of related services as part of their child study team evaluations. This also includes the approval of an assignment of a one-to-one paraprofessional for a special education student, as well as adjustment of tuition rates for students attending out-of-district placements. Item number 5 on page 6, that goes into page number 7, is seeking the approval to amend items on previous education reports. That includes costs, changing the dates of various school events, adding staff to various items that were previously approved, as well as adjusting dates for different school-wide events. Item number 6 on page 8 is seeking to approve the use of facilities for various school-wide activities throughout the district. This includes different activities for students and staff, such as the instrumental beginner showcase, various school-wide assemblies, dances that are taking place at our middle schools, college and career workshops, a Women's History Month conference, Fashion Against Bullying fashion show, which will be taking place at Linden High School, and various school-wide events. Item number 7 on page number 10 is seeking approval for for 3 professional development sessions for our staff. Item number 8 is seeking approval for district field trips. Copies are in the hands of board members. Item number 9 is seeking to approve training for district staff. So this is for outside PD that our staff will be participating in accordance to their professional development plans, as well as ensuring that they're aligned with our district goals and objectives. This continues through page number 16. Item number 10 on page 16, as well as items number 11, 12, 13, and 14 are all regarding tutoring services, which will be taking place for students. So this includes a homework helpline, after-school Title I tutoring, as well as a Saturday tutoring program, which will be taking place to provide additional support to our students throughout the district. Item number 15 on page 19 is seeking to approve students who will be participating or seeking to apply to participate in the interdistrict choice. Item number 16 is seeking to approve our course description guides for our elementary school, middle, and high school. This includes our course offerings that we offer throughout the district for our students. Item number 17 is seeking the approval of the enrollment of 2 students who will be attending charter schools. Item number 18 is regarding the High Impact Tutoring Program grant, which we discussed last month, which we were recently awarded by the state of New Jersey. So this is seeking to approve the implementation of that program. Item number 19 is seeking to approve a general letter of intent where we will be partnering with local providers throughout the city of Linden for our pre-K expansion program. Items number 20, 21, and 22 on page 20 and 21 is regarding some of our human resources practices. So it's seeking approval to expand, to partner with local platforms to expand searches to fill some of our vacancies. So that includes partnering with NJ School Jobs, topschooljobs.org, as well as district staff participating in college and job fairs. Item number 23 is seeking approval of the Safe Return Plan, which is submitted by Linden Public Schools to the Department of Education. Item number 24 is seeking to approve the high school marching band banquet. And item number 25 on page 21 is seeking approval of HIB cases. Thank you.
Open for discussion.
Anyone have? Yes.
A question on number 23 on page 21, the Safe Return Plan.
So that plan is required by the ESSR funds that we received from the state in case there's another pandemic shutdown. It's just a plan indicating what would be our restart procedures. So the state requires that we submit a plan every year for that.
Okay, thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Number 7 on page 10. Can you speak to what all 3 of those workshops entail and who are they servicing?
Sure, the Restorative Justice PD, that is a PD by a organization called Holding Space. The provider comes in and will be providing a PD session for our high school staff on the topic of restorative justice. Restorative justice is essentially a proactive way to provide support to students, and the root of the term is restore. So it provides students with an opportunity to restore and repair what took place. So they participate in restorative circles where they can share out their feelings, and if there was an incident that took place, they have an opportunity to process it and unpack it. It helps to build culture and climate and build relationships with students and staff. So this PD is for staff to learn how to facilitate restorative circles and learn more about restorative justice. The other 2 PDs which will be taking place, developing a culturally responsive mindset as well as celebrating many voices, is for our fine and performing arts department. And that's also PD which will be coming into the district for our McManus staff.
Thank you.
I have a question for item 9, number 3. What exactly is the workshop trauma-sensitive schools for?
Yes, so trauma-sensitive practices is essentially, it teaches educators a means of approaching and supporting students with a trauma-sensitive lens, meaning all of our students come to school with various experiences which may impact them. So by learning about trauma-sensitive approaches, it helps educators to be more mindful of some of the external factors that might take place outside of school, perhaps at home, their country of origin, perhaps previous trauma that they've experienced, and it helps to increase their understanding on how that impacts them while in the school. So it just gives staff support and understanding and how to better support the students' needs.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, on that note, I think it is really very important. Saturday, I went to a Christmas party for Inroads. Inroads, the Opportunity, is one of our providers, and they work with students with special needs. And they had a Christmas party on Saturday, and one of the attendees was in a wheelchair. And when you're in wheelchairs, most of the time you have to take blood thinners because the blood don't circulate as much. So this young lady went into the bathroom, and she went into the wrong bathroom. She should have gone into the handicapped bathroom. But she went into the bathroom that was not handicapped, and the door slit her foot from the whole front, from her knee down. And because she was taking blood thinners, the blood started to flow so fast. She could have bled out very easily. But because I saw what was going on, and none of the staff knew what to do, they started just taking napkins and mopping up the blood. And the napkins was filling up really fast. I had to turn to them and say, no, you have to go into one of the rooms, get a chair, lift her leg up as close to her heart as possible to slow down the bleeding. So when they went and they got the chair and they lift her leg up high, close to her heart, it slowed the bleeding down. And then I had to tell them, now what you have to do, secure the place, then call the ambulance. So reality is all our teachers and students have to learn how to react. And they were all case workers taking care of special needs kids, but nobody knew how to handle a situation like that. And because she was on blood thinners, the blood was just flowing, the blood. So I think this is very important that all of our teachers and even some of our staff know how to handle critical situations.
Any other comments on the education report?
Yes, I want one. Number 19, number 16, it says accept the following in the public school district course descriptions guide. Where do you get it from? You compare from 2023 to 2024, or how do we do it?
Which item was that?
19, page 19, item number 16.
So yes, so the district course guides, the description guides, are basically reviewed by all of the supervisors and the directors. They provide input into were there any changes that were made. And mostly for the elementary and the middle school, nothing was really changed. At the high school, the only thing that was added was just a little table indicating the sequence of courses for students. So people will be able to see what math courses you can take for 9th grade, what math courses you could take for 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. So there's like honors, and it just sets up the track so people could see it at a quick glance.
So it breaks it down? For
Yeah,
them,
it breaks
which
it
one
down for them.
Stuff like that, on which grade level and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a couple of questions on 20 and 21. This is something I know Malaysia has been talking about a lot, is about how do we fill our vacancies. And I have looked, and I know that my board members have also looked at the job descriptions for a lot of our vacancies. And it could be very, very intimidating. We already are in a school district where our salary may not be as competitive. I know that how employees are. If you ask an employee to do something that is not in their job description, it also could create a problem. But I really believe, and this is my opinion, that our job descriptions need to be revised. So I think when I look at the job descriptions, some of them look really, really old. And I think they may, do you have any thoughts on that, Mrs. Lewis, on our job description and whether you think they should be revised and it could be a hindrance as to people applying for the jobs?
Sure. Reviewing our job descriptions is something that we'll be doing in conjunction with our Human Resources Department, is reviewing all of our job descriptions and ensuring that they're in compliance with state requirements as well as the needs of our district.
Another thing is, though, I know, Malaysia, you were also talking about keywords. So if we are updating the job description, we have to be able to focus on keywords. How does that work? That's your thing.
No, that's something that you've been working on, correct?
The search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So that will be part of the changes that we included in the new job description so that we'll be able to draw more candidates to look at our job descriptions.
Well, I assume once it is updated to the site that the SEO will populate that information and we'll be able to find it once searching those keywords.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can add to that, the NJ Schools job that's on this agenda item number 20 and the top school jobs is going to, it's more aligned with Amazon with the optimization and Google. So these job databases will be able to push out Linden jobs a lot more, and it'll rise up to, when you queue in a teaching job, Linden is going to pop up.
And what site do we use to target certain demographics to hire? Because our school is demographically rich in culture, all right? So, like for example, one example is at our high school. Our high school only have 2 black male student teachers. And we have almost 30% of the population that is African American, right, about that. So my question is, in our changes or in our job search, what sites are we using to target and attract certain types of staff so that we could become more demographically rich in our teaching staff.
So that's to item 22. Item 22 is to attend college and university job fairs. With this item being approved by the board, we're going to be able to send personnel to HBCU schools that have education programs. We're going to be able to send personnel to the University of Delaware, which does a really great job with special needs. Their program at their university requires that anyone who majors in one content also has to major in special ed. So, we're going to be able to go out to all different types of universities to look for the candidates that best meet the needs of all of our students.
Brianna, you are very good in marketing. Do you think we need to have a specific advertising, maybe that could target certain demographics?
I met with a production company that works with several municipalities earlier this week, and I was going to actually present it to the board and closed, but I do think that we can advance the way we're putting ourselves and marketing ourselves as a board and just for the city as a whole. And I think that they have a lot of good campaign strategies that we can use to showcase all the work that we're doing outside of just advertising for teachers, but just capturing pivotal moments that we're doing within our community, like as far as the It Takes a Village awards and things of that nature. So I definitely think that that's a conversation that we need to have in terms of the bidding process and who we would like to work with, because I do think that we are lacking in that area in terms of marketing.
Anything else? Any other questions or comments? Okay, moving on to the finance report.
Good evening. In probably an hour or two, we'll be looking for approval from the Board of Education on the following resolutions. Resolutions 1 through 5 are our typical monthly resolutions, Board Secretary and Treasurer's report, payment of bills, payment of salaries, transfers, as well as the student activities report. Resolution number 6 is seeking to amend board action on a prior resolution. This is for the comprehensive maintenance plan. We received, at least in regards to the maintenance portion of the budget, the final numbers from the auditors on the maintenance side of that of those costs, which required us to amend the numbers that we had previously approved. Resolutions 7 through 11 are either donations or receipts that the district is receiving. For our resolution number 7, for our school model UN, Story of Us, and student government clubs fundraising activities, they're going to be accepting donations from Krispy Kreme and Trader Joe's. Resolution 8 is accepting the $400 from, on behalf of Kathy Colazzo, which will be used to support the fundraising efforts of Heather Colazzo for school number 6, which is going to their PTA. Resolution number 9 is accepting a $1,000 donation from the Linden PBA for the Linden boys basketball. Resolution number 10 is accepting a donation from Drumthwacket for a trip there on November 15th, 2023. Resolution 11 is accepting the funds from an application done by our 21st Century Community Learning Center, which is our out-of-school time programs that we run here at Linden, and I actually did find what the money was going to be used for. It's funds that will be spent on STEM supplies, a Liberty Science Center workshops for a summer program, trip admissions fees, and transportation for those trips. Number 12 is approve partnering with the Student Treasurers Publishing of Topeka, Kansas. This is a cool program for our after-school program. Students would create stories that the company would publish, and parents and guardians would be able to purchase those published stories. Resolutions 13 and 14 are installing carpet tiles for the technology department as well as the VP's office at the academy. Resolution 15 is looking to upgrade our transportation software. It's with the same company, but it would be going a more beefed up version of it, browser-based, cloud-based version, which would start with the 24-25 school year, though we want to, get the approval on so that we can start with the migration process on the latter half of the 23-24 school year. Resolution 16 is looking to approve purchases for our cafeteria operations, a hot food serving counter and table, a sandwich salad prep refrigerator, and a reach-in refrigerator for the Linden High School cafeteria. Resolution 17 is looking to approve a pole attachment agreement with Verizon. We're currently running wires on the Verizon poles. To do so, we need to have an agreement with Verizon to do that. Resolution 18 is looking to accept the proposal for security guard services from Arrow Security. This would be done, the security services would be for our high school and middle schools. Resolution number 19 is looking to appoint myself as the district's PACO, which is Public Agency Compliance Officer, for the 23-24 school year. The PACO ensures that the vendors that the district does work with are equal opportunity, affirmative action compliant. Resolution number 20 is authorizing the business office to go out for bids for HVAC replacement work at schools 8, school 9, and school 10. This is something that we talked about at budget time. This would be funded through the ESSER 3 grant as well as ROD grants that we've received and monies that were set aside in the budget for the 23-24 school year. Resolution number 21 is granting the Linden Public Schools to participate for the annual holiday toy drive. Resolution 22 is approving the school bus emergency evacuation drills were conducted as required. They're required to be done twice a year, and the board has copies of when those evacuation drills were done. Resolution 23 is a required resolution that we needed to do in regards to our health insurance bid, or rather, health insurance quote, for the fact that the state of New Jersey is looking for this resolution, just basically notifying the board members and the public that the insurance was awarded as is allowed through the extraordinary unspecifiable service regulations of the state of New Jersey. That is the end of the resolutions.
It's open for discussion. Are there any questions or comments
Yes,
for the finance report?
Yes. Page 37, number 12, that's really great. So have they been dealing with this before? With the Treasurer Publishing, have they been dealing with this before?
I think this is a new service that our after school director was able to find, so we're really excited for it.
Seems pretty good. Thank you.
I have a question about agenda item number 7.
Yes.
For the Krispy Kreme fundraiser, do you know what that entails and how we're disseminating the information to the students and parents? Or like how we can contribute?
I don't think it's a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. I think they're donating Krispy Kreme products. I don't, we could get you more information on it, because I believe they are, does anyone, yeah, we'd have to get back to you on it. I just know that they're getting the donations, but. Are you looking to get the Krispy Kremes? Because I know they're really.
No, I had an extension to that question, only because the TV and film class had a fundraiser at Blaze Pizza, and I just was curious to know like how we're disseminating the information to the parents and the students, because I don't think the onus should only be on the students in the club, because sometimes it's a small group, and I think they have, when I went, there was actually other Linden students that didn't know that there was a fundraiser going on, and I had to tell them that it was a fundraiser going on. They just happened to be in the same location. So I just wanted to know how we're getting out information for some of our fundraisers, because they have a lot of cool ones that are easy. We eat out every day, so, just curious. Not really a question, just a curiosity.
I have a question. You have? I have a question. Mr. Garcia, I always trying to figure of ways we could raise money, right? Other than begging the state for money. And I look at all our marquees outside that put tell us going on in our buildings. Can we get sponsors for those marquees that could pay us money?
We should discuss that
All right.
offline.
But I think that would be a cool idea. That's all I wanted to ask regarding that.
Are there any other questions? In regards to the Verizon polls, once we have an estimate for it or the cost, you'll add it back to.
Yeah, I mean, I did make the request. Part of the problem is that this was actually done a while ago. So we're not even certain how many polls there are, but we wanted to start the process because Verizon, I guess, was out here for something else, and they said, they saw the wires running into our school, and they said, well, who authorized you guys to do that? Apparently, it was a vendor from like 10, 15 years ago who had set something up on it. I guess something with the fiber, probably when you guys went over to that. But yeah, we're just starting the process now with it, and then we'll get the costs for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to buildings, grounds, and security.
For buildings, grounds, and security, we have a fairly short agenda. We will be making a recommendation for approval from the superintendent and the business administrator board secretary for really use of facilities, school 6 for PTA and someone special dances, as well as a parent meeting. For school number 8, a PTA meeting in the cafeteria. Resolution 3 is looking for approval of a use of facility for the Mystic Vision Players. And this will be something that's in the spring and summer, including rehearsals and auditions and performances through, like I said, through August. And that's it.
Any questions or comments? That's good. All right, moving on to planning and policy.
The Planning and Policy Committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent and the assistant superintendents, present the following motion to the Linden Board of Education for approval. This is the second reading. No changes were made to the sports-related concussion and head injury.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, I'd like someone to call a motion to go into executive.
Motion to go into executive?
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Pino?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Armstead?
Yes.
Ms. Carrillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cintron?
Yes.
And Dr. Berghammer?
Yes.